Can you separate the artist from the art? This is a question we've been asking for quite some time. Whether it was Errol Flynn and his drinking habits, the mysterious death of George Reeves, the mafia connections of Frank Sinatra, or the dark cloud that hangs over Fatty Arbuckle, there are many great Hollywood actors who had a nasty reputation or controversy. So join us as we take a look at the old Hollywood actors who had a nasty reputation. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn's career took off in the 1930s with his role as Captain Blood in the film of the same name. He went on to star in several other classic films, including The Adventures of Robin Hood, The Seahawk, and They Died with Their Boots On. Flynn was known for his charisma, good looks, and athletic abilities, which he often showcased in his action-packed roles. And did we mention his good looks? It's no secret the ladies loved him, and he took full advantage of this. And it was what would cause his downfall. He was known for his excessive drinking, drug use, and womanizing, and his behavior often landed him in trouble with the law. In 1942, at the height of his success, he was accused of statutory assault by 2 teenage girls. He was acquitted of the charges, and he got a lot of support from many male stars who alleged the girls were conspiring to end his career. However, the trial damaged his reputation and did lead to a decline in his career. Flynn's legal troubles continued throughout his life. He was once again accused of sexual assault in 1953, but was once again acquitted. Alcohol continued to be a part of his life, and he often had to smuggle it on film sets. His health began to decline in the 50s, and he was diagnosed with heart disease. He died in 1959 at age 50 from a heart attack. Despite his personal problems, Errol Flynn remains a beloved figure in Hollywood history. George Reeves. George Reeves played Superman in the original 1950s series and is still remembered for the role. Unfortunately, he's also remembered for his death, which remains a mystery. His death is officially a suicide, though there have been many theories over the years about what really happened. While he might have played one of our favorite superheroes, it also hurt his career as he tried to branch out to other types of roles. To add salt to the wounds, he was also in a turbulent relationship with his fiancée, Leonore Lemon, who was known to be jealous and rather controlling. On the night of his death, George was at a party at his home. At one point, his fiancée and guests were downstairs while he was in his bedroom. Allegedly, his fiancée was telling their guests that George was depressed due to his career decline and that he might even kill himself. Then a gunshot was heard and George Reeves was lying dead at age 45. The official investigation ruled Reeves' death a suicide, but many people have questioned that conclusion. Many people believe he was murdered, with his fiancée being one possible suspect. Alternatively, others have suggested he may have been murdered by the Hollywood executive Eddie Mannix, whose wife, Toni, was George's ex-girlfriend. Even then, many actors, including Alan Ladd, weren't afraid to voice their skepticism on what actually happened. Despite the many theories, the truth may never be known for sure. His legacy as the original Superman lives on, but his untimely death has cast a shadow over his career and left many unanswered questions. Fatty Arbuckle. Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle was one of the most popular comedians of the silent film era in the 1910s and early 20s. Yet today, except for discerning cinephiles, you might not hear his name mentioned alongside Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton, despite the fact he was as successful as they were. Arbuckle's downfall happened in the span of one night, and it happened at a party he threw. He was accused of assaulting and killing actress Virginia Rappe at the party by one of her friends who also attended. The scandal became one of the first Hollywood scandals, which we've now become somewhat used to. After several trials, he was declared innocent and acquitted of all charges. But what the court asserts, the people still doubt. Many people continue to believe he was guilty, and he was blacklisted from Hollywood for years. He made a brief comeback in the 1930s and focused mainly on directing. But this was short-lived, and he simply couldn't recreate his success. He died in 1933, and his films haven't really been observed or appreciated by the general public since. Frank Sinatra. We all know Frank Sinatra was one of the most iconic and beloved entertainers of the 20th century and is still adored and respected today. But he wasn't immune to controversy. One of the most infamous incidents was when he was involved in a fight in a casino. Frank was known to receive special treatment in Las Vegas, and many of the casinos throughout the Strip. Often he got to keep $50,000 worth of gambling chips he could keep as winnings. However, when billionaire Howard Hughes took over the casinos in the late 60s, this privilege came to an end. Sinatra naturally wasn't happy about this and expressed his anger, making a public outburst in one casino. He was so outraged he even attacked a security guard and threw hot coffee at another guy. Well, not actually some other guy, a notorious mobster who retaliated by punching Sinatra and relieving him of 2 of his teeth. The incident was widely reported in the press at the time, yet the legend that Frank Sinatra was, it didn't harm his career. Clark Gable. Clark Gable is one of the most legendary actors of classic Hollywood and one of its most legendary ladies' men. It was a known fact that he would have relations with many actresses, including his co-stars, and the fact that he was married at times didn't get in the way of his passionate affairs. As a result, his wild love life didn't exactly earn him a nasty reputation. But something later in life did slightly tarnish his reputation. The incident was when he was accused of fathering Loretta Young's daughter. Apparently, Loretta Young and Clark Gable had an affair while filming Call of the Wild in 1935. Young became pregnant, but due to the scandalous nature of the situation, the couple decided to keep it a secret. Young went to Europe to give birth to their daughter, Judy Lewis, and then passed her off as an adopted child. The story was eventually confirmed after Young's death in 2000 when Judy Lewis wrote a book about her life. Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper was one of the most popular leading men of the 30s and 40s, starring in classics such as Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, The Pride of the Yankees, and High Noon. But his off-screen life was just as fascinating as his on-screen persona, but the former earned him a nasty reputation. He was married to Veronica Balfi for over 30 years, but the couple's relationship was plagued by infidelity and substance abuse. One of his most notorious affairs was with Patricia Neal. The affair started in the 1940s when Neal was a rising star and Gary Cooper was already an established actor. The relationship was passionate, but it was complicated by Gary Cooper's marriage to his wife Veronica. The affair ended abruptly when Patricia became pregnant and Gary ended the relationship. The pregnancy would have ended her career, and being a single mother was frowned upon, so she terminated the pregnancy. As one would expect, the affair continued to haunt Patricia Neal as she struggled with the trauma for the rest of her life. Gary Cooper continued to be one of the most successful actors of his generation and is revered as a legend to this day. Now it's time to hear from you. Are you a fan of any of these old Hollywood actors? They were extremely talented and their work speaks for itself, but one still can't get away from the controversies that surrounded their lives. Let us know in the comments section below.